Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be joining us from. I'm Brett Waters. I've been immersed in the startup world of Silicon Valley for my entire career. Today, I teach entrepreneurship at Stanford University, I coach startup CEOs at Miller Center for Social Entrepreneurship, and I run the Fourthly Startup Accelerator. Welcome to Demo Day for our Spring 2022 cohort. For this cohort, we had over 100 applicants. We chose the 9 startups that you are about to see. And they've been immersed together virtually for the last 6 weeks. It's a terrific group, and I think you'll enjoy seeing their 3-minute pitches. I'm excited about this cohort, and one of the reasons I'm excited about this cohort is that I think the 9 entrepreneurs in this cohort, I think their startups kind of represent some of the really salient trends going on in the marketplace today. Digital health is kind of obviously a key trend in 2022, as well as the general realization that mental health is a key component to overall health. And 3 of the startups that you'll hear from today are focused on using digital technologies to improve people's health and wellness. So Acesa, Visutate, and IO Health, who you'll hear from all 3 of those this morning. Another trend is what I call the de-Amazonification of retail. That, the last 15 years have been all about all of the power in the retail world consolidating with Amazon. And now we're seeing kind of the pendulum swinging back the other way. There's several interesting startups that are kind of shifting the power the other way in the online retail space. And you'll hear from one of them today, Mesa Orient. Thirdly, AI has been around for a long time, right? Artificial intelligence. But in 2022, we're starting to see AI applied in some very practical ways, including Oogway, one of the startups you'll hear from in just a couple minutes. Educational technology. So I spent 6 years on the board of the Stanford School of Education, and my focus was on trying to figure out how to create innovation in the field of educational technology. And so I'm super excited that EdTech is, it's a thing now. A lot of investment dollars flowing into EdTech. And we'll hear today from Tare Live, one of the startups in the EdTech space. On-demand delivery, right? We've seen everybody get used to the idea of just pushing a button on their phone and a sandwich arrives. I think the next wave is going to be B2B online delivery, on-demand delivery, B2B on-demand delivery. And today, Stay Put will tell us about how they're bringing the on-demand delivery model to a particular B2B segment. Meanwhile, enterprise software, right? Enterprise software continues to be a hot sector, and we're seeing new startups figure out how to apply AI and machine learning to bring enterprise software to specific verticals. And Sproxy, the founder of Sproxy, will be here to tell us a little bit about that. And finally, there's a whole new generation out there, right? And Millennial Living will tell us about how new startups today are focused on delivering against the specific needs and expectations of the millennial generation. So, enough intro. Let's start to hear from the entrepreneurs. So let me bring Aniket in. Aniket, how are you this morning?
I am great, Brett. How are you?
Excellent. So I've known he was actually in my Stanford course a few years ago. So I already knew him. Already knew what a smart, interesting guy he was. And so when he pitched me on joining this cohort with his new startup Oogway, I was pretty much sold before he even finished the pitch. So Aniket, tell us more about Oogway.
Thank you, Brett. Good morning, everybody. My name is Aniket, and I am one of the co-founders of Oogway. Uh, Imagine a future where you can make any decision effectively in less than an hour. What car should I drive? Where should I live? And the most important one, what should we have for dinner tonight? For most of us, our decision making process starts at search, and we get so many results that is overwhelming. We can go ask our family and friends, but they're not always the best people for a particular decision. And we all know that social media can't be trusted with all the information. Because we lack the tools today, we spend a whole lot of time and effort trying to make a decision. But yet, we are not happy with the decision, or in many cases, we can't even make a decision. We are about to change that. At Oogway, we are on a mission to help people make better decisions. And we are building a platform around it. So let's see how it works. So imagine I want to figure out where I should live next. I can tell Uguay what I care about in a city. In my instance, it would be good weather and good school district for my kids. Uguay can then do the background search and give me a list of options. I can then work with Uguay's AI to narrow down those options. And once I feel comfortable, Uguay can also connect me to the people who've either made a similar decision or who live in the cities where I can ask them questions so that I can actually make my decision. So we started thinking about it last year, and this March we released our alpha that was around social feedback. So people could ask their decision and get advice from other people. This month we are releasing our AI that not only understands the decision, but the context of the decision and makes a recommendation. Plus, it learns from all other advice given by users. For people who need more help, we have a decision coaching service also available. We have an incredible team that's sort of passionate about it. Brady, who leads our AI, has a PhD with a Nobel Prize winning professor. Federico leads our product and development and has 9+ years experience building large scale systems, including working at Amazon Alexa. I have been working at startups and scaling them for my entire career. Plus, we have an incredible community of 400 Discord members that help us build, test, and iterate on Uguay. We are extremely happy what we have seen from the feedback that we have got from Alpha, and we are excited to release a beta to even more people. To accelerate the development, we are raising a seed round, and we are looking for angels and VCs who share our passion for Uguay. So if you are interested, please email me. My email is aniket@uguay.ai. Finally, once again, we are Uguay, and we are on a mission to help people make better decisions. Thank you. I'll take any questions.
Thanks, Aniket. That was great. So, I was thinking as you were presenting, I was thinking about how, there's a adage that it takes good engineers to design something that's complicated, and it takes great engineers to design something that's simple. And I was thinking about how that's certainly true with AI stuff. That kind of the first incarnations of AI, it was too complicated for the average consumer to possibly use. And that one of the things I'm excited about with Uguay is that you guys have you're kind of surfacing very simple ways for consumers to leverage the power of AI. And I'm curious about kind of what the various use cases are that you think you can support.
Yeah, so today, and again, that's a sort of a great observation. And we are not here to sort of build our own AI. We are leveraging technologies that people have built, like OpenAI. They've spent millions and millions of dollars. And so right now, with large language models, the AI has become incredibly useful. So as you saw in the example, right, you can provide AI even information about where to live and provide it the context, and it can do a pretty decent job. So not only small decisions on hey, what should I cook for dinner if I have these vegetables, but you can also give it much more complex things. And the next thing for us is to actually make it more interactive so that we can not just give an answer, but then also refine it further. But again, our goal is to be open for all use cases, but we are, again, working with people and figuring out our beachhead markets.
Right. Awesome. Well, great job, Aniket. Congrats. And if anybody wants any more information, they go to uguay.ai. Is that correct?
That is correct. Thank you, Brad.
Okay. Awesome. All right. So next up is Marie. So Marie was introduced to me by a mutual friend. And this mutual friend is just an incredibly smart guy in Silicon Valley. And so, so Marie, said she wanted to apply for the Fourthly Startup Accelerator. And my my response to it was basically that if Thane recommended you, then you're in. Right, Marie?
Correct.
So where are you joining
They
us
have
from today?
the Bay Area, very close.
The Bay Area. Excellent. All right, so take it away, Marie. Tell us what we need to know about a case of health.
Thank you, everybody, for taking the time. It comes as no surprise to hear that. Sorry, but whoops. Sorry, glitch. Hello, everybody. My name is Marie, and I'm the founder and CEO of Akessa Health. It comes as no surprise to hear that we are experiencing a mental health crisis. Every year, 1.5 billion people experience some form of psychological trauma globally. Since COVID, this number has skyrocketed to 2.5 billion people. But most of these people do not get the mental health support they need because of the dire shortage of therapists and the time, the cost, and the stigma still associated with seeking care. 10 years ago, as I was happy climbing the corporate ladder and traveling for some long forgotten childhood trauma emerged, and suddenly I was one of these 1.5 billion people. I was fortunate to eventually discover therapies that saved my life. And I realized also that the brain, similarly to a bone that can repair itself after fracture, has an innate self-healing potential. And so, to address the issue of access to care, I launched Akessa Health to help people tap into their own brain's self-healing potential and get back to mental wellness. Our first app is a guided self-therapy that incorporates assessment, a light movement acting on the amygdala brain center, amygdala fear center at the center of the brain, and binaural beats that enable people to transform distressing experiences into resilience independently without the help of therapists. Our beachhead market is healthcare providers who have lost 20% of their workforce since the pandemic started because they've experienced such distress. We started a pilot with the Cook County Department of Public Health, the second largest county in the US, and are getting encouraging results. In parallel, we are in discussion with some other very large healthcare providers. Now, the beauty of technology is that it can be deployed really easily. And so we want to be able to provide proper mental health care to some of the people who most need it. The team, and I each have 15 years experience in scientific innovation and successful business. We've attracted a very strong board of advisors. If you would like to be part of this journey, I would love to hear from you. So please do get in touch. My name is Marie de Secher. Email is marie@Akessa Health. And there's a barcode here if you would like to scan. Thank you.
Marie, that was great. Thank you. So, I was thinking about how I think I read. Correct me if I'm wrong about this, Marie, but I think I read that the American Psychiatric Society, whatever it is, says that 1 out of every 11 people will suffer from traumatic stress at some point in their life. So it's it's probably a more widespread phenomenon than many people realize.
So the stats are 70% of the people will experience a traumatic experience. It could be, a natural disaster, right? We see a lot of it in California, right? A fire, an accident, a chronic disease, right? Having cancer and not knowing if it will relapse, for example, is traumatic stress. Now, out of those people, 1 out of 10 will develop, PTSD.
Yeah. And I'm personally very kind of interested in the access and equity angle on digital mental health stuff. That they're kind of wealthy, well-connected people. If they're feeling stressed out in their lives, they can go hire a psychiatrist, right? But there are an awful lot of people in this country suffering from various mental health issues, including traumatic stress, who just don't have the money or the connections or the time to go hire a shrink. And so something like bringing help to their mobile phone that they already have in their pocket, I think is tremendous leverage there in terms of access.
Correct. And one thing as well with technology is that it can be translated very easily, right? I mean, getting into therapy, you want to speak your own language. And it's become very
Right.
difficult for people who have immigrated to the US to find therapists in their own language. And it's the same thing in some countries overseas too. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right. Well, thanks, Marie. That was great. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, so let's see. Next up, we have Aisha. Good morning, Aisha.
Good morning, Brett. How are you?
Fine. So, where are you joining us from today?
Istanbul, Turkey.
Istanbul, Turkey. So it's actually not morning for you.
No, it's almost nighttime.
So when I first met Aisha and her co-founder Hamdi, and they explained to me about how they're kind of bringing the personalized experience of a small boutique to e-commerce. I immediately knew what they were talking about because my wife manages a small kind of a boutique store, and so I know all about kind of the personalized service and the idea that everything that's in there is kind of part of a curated collection, and all those other things that small boutiques bring to the shopping experience that you obviously don't get on Amazon. So when I met Aisha and she told me about the startup, I immediately got it. So Aisha, with that, take it away. Tell us more.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. I'm Ayşe. I'm the founder of Maison Orient. Maison Orient is a curated fashion tech platform connecting local and independent designers from emerging regions with global customers. As you know, fashion is a big global industry, and e-commerce has played a key role in its growth and expansion over the last 15 years, especially in the last 2 years with the effects of the pandemic. And on one hand, you have companies such as Amazon and Etsy who have dominated the market with everyday products. And on the other hand, you have companies such as Farfetch and Net-a-Porter who have dominated the market with the luxury online fashion business. So if you are a local brand and you've created this amazing brand with authentic products and you want to sell your items globally, you have two options. You either need to launch your own website, which is very costly and requires a lot of human and financial resources and know-how, or you need to join one of the existing fashion platforms, which tend to focus more on already established brands with a proven track record or are guaranteed to bring in sales. So that's where we come in. We created an easy to join platform in a very highly curated and edited way where brands can join and start selling their products immediately internationally without having to face all the fashion industry barriers that they would normally face elsewhere. And since our launch, which was a little over a year ago, we managed to sign over 200 brands from 13 countries. And we serviced about 1,000 clients from 40 countries, which is a great data that shows us that there's demand both from the brand's end and from the client's end. And we've reached almost 30,000 followers on Instagram in a short amount of time. We also got great attention from the press. We've been published by major publications such as Vogue, WWD, Harper's Bazaar, and we also got great testimonials from the clients who've discovered us online and who've already shopped from our platform. Our business model is very easy. We work with drop shipping, meaning that we ship directly from the brands to the clients. We work with Shopify as our tech platform, and we work with net sales commissions. So our flow is very easy. Together, me and my co-founder, we have over 30 years of industry experience, especially in the fashion, luxury fashion, and online businesses. So we are very confident that we know the business, the challenges, and the needs and global markets. Since the launch, we have founded the business ourselves, and we recently raised a growth capital from Clearco. And now we're at the seed funding round, which we plan to use for our next steps, building our business, investing our tech, and building a strong marketing and operations team. We are very excited for the journey ahead of us, and thank you for your time.
Well, thanks, Aisha. So, one of the things about your model that I think is kind of worth reiterating is that you guys don't actually keep any inventory, that the brands drop ship directly to customers. And in terms of kind of the the economic efficiency of the operation, that's huge because inventory
Yeah.
is expensive, right? And it's especially true in the fashion business where you have to stock all kinds of different sizes, right?
Yeah.
And so I think that this is kind of
Yeah.
a key part of your business model is the fact that you are a marketplace that connects independent brands with consumers, and that you provide that kind of personalization and the AI engine, and don't have the kind of the economic burden of inventory and stocking and all that. So we have a question coming in. It's a good one, which is how do you qualify the brand? So how do you do the curation process, Aisha?
I am the curator, so I look at a lot of criteria before I either connect with the brand to join them on the platform, or I allow, because we get a lot of applications now. So their price point, their quality, their the quality of their images, the descriptions. We have a whole list of criteria that I take them through before I allow them to join. It's a mid to high luxury segment, so it's not open. It's not an Etsy. It's very curated. So we look at a lot of criteria before we let them join, to be fair to the brands who have already joined, to keep their brand identity intact.
And you just said it's not an Etsy, and simultaneously we got a question that came in about what's the difference between this and Etsy.
It's price points and the curation. We don't. It's very edited. We sell everything from ready to wear to jewelry, but it's not. The products are not as cheap as the products on Etsy, and we don't allow thousands of brands to come in. Though we can scale the business very quickly, but we do take them through a lot of selection processes.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And what's just
They're very high quality products. We look at designs, we look at quality, we look at price points, we look at the images, we look at a lot of things to make sure that they match the criteria of the platform.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And do you have a stylist, or is that kind of part of your job?
Yeah. I'm the stylist. Yeah.
Excellent. All right. Thanks, Aisha. Appreciate it. Okay, so let's see. So we're going to stay in Turkey for a minute. Orkun, good evening.
Hi, Brett.
So I actually met Orkun 3 years ago, maybe 4 years ago. I was giving a talk in Istanbul, and Orkun was one of the people in the audience. And then kind of fast forward 3 or 4 years, and I get an email from him saying, "Hey, can I apply to your startup accelerator?" And I said, "Sure. What are you working on?" And he told me that it was basically a kind of an app to help you meditate. It's kind of my oversimplification. He'll tell you more, but that's kind of my oversimplification. And the reason it caught my attention is that, everybody tells me about the benefits of meditation. Everybody tells me that, Brett, you should learn meditation. It's great for you. But every time I've ever tried to meditate, the first thing they say is you need to have a quiet mind. And I just don't have a quiet mind. That as soon as I try to meditate, I just start thinking about all the things I'm supposed to be doing and all the things I haven't gotten done yet and all the things I need to do tomorrow. And so the fact that Orkun, has developed technology that will help me with this problem of mine and help me to get to that space of a quiet mind, I was on board with the concept. So Orkun, tell us more about it.
Sure, Brett. Hi, everyone. My name is Orkun Karabaşoğlu, and today I'm going to introduce you Vegetate, visual meditations in augmented reality. Everybody tells us to meditate, and we all know the benefits, right? Better sleep, lower stress, and less anxiety. Then why don't we all meditate? Because meditation is difficult. You close your eyes, you hear some audio, and then it's hard to concentrate. Some people find it even boring, but maybe most importantly, traumatic people have issues with closing their eyes. So I tried other solutions as well. I attended to seminars, live events. They were quite immersive, but they were expensive. And not everybody had the time and money to do that. Then I signed up for meditation apps. They were cheaper and more accessible, but they suffered from one-dimensional audio content. And it was hard to practice. I tried virtual reality apps. VR headsets were heavy and uncomfortable, but they were quite immersive. But today, a majority of the people don't have a VR headset. then immediately I noticed that there's a gap in the market for a better product, for an immersive, efficient, and accessible product. So we created Vigitate. Vigitate is a mobile app for creating immersive and interactive digital environments for doing mental exercises. Vigitate teaches you visualization. It helps you improve your focus, sleep, and relaxation. It also teaches you how to manifest your visions into reality. Vigitate is available now on Google Play and App Store with 5-star reviews. So how does it work? You use your cell phone, you combine a guided meditation with an augmented reality experience of your choice. You can be above the clouds with the birds or deep down in the ocean with the fish and sea turtles. You can do mental exercises in these beautiful environments for improving your focus, relaxation, and sleep. You can also connect with other visitators, and you can share your moments on social media, or you can remain private and enjoy the moments. So we have just launched. You can download it on App Store and Google Play to see how immersive it is. These are real screenshots from the app itself. So how are we different from the other apps? We let users see, touch, and listen in the augmented reality environments. They can walk, they can approach to the objects in the environment. We differentiate ourselves with delivered content and how, the duration of the sessions, and focus benefits. So market validation. Meditation market is growing exponentially, and in 2019, $200 million were spent on meditation applications. Our business model is subscription-based, but we are also very keen on corporate wellness and partnerships. We've just launched worldwide with our English content, and starting next week, we are going to do performance marketing. Then we are going to release our optimized content, and eventually, towards the end of the year, we are going to localize our content to different languages. So Vigitate has high differentiation in its core product offerings with competitors when it comes to accessibility and immersiveness. In just a few days, we received very promising initial results. User engagement is really high. And we are first to market. We have a patent pending, non-provisional and PCT application has been filed. It's immersive for mobile. We implemented gamification, social interactions, and network effect. So we have a very experienced executive team. I graduated from Carnegie Mellon University with a PhD, then did postdoc at MIT, and Berkan is a very experienced extended reality developer and inventor. We have world-class mindfulness experts and software engineers and business people to help this vision come to reality. We are looking for 12-month financing to reach 200,000 users, and we have just announced our funding round. I'm looking forward to connecting with you, and thank you very much.
Sorry about that. So, Orkun, that was great. So the monetization here is subscriptions. Is that correct?
Correct.
Yeah. And the fact that you launched in the App Store just a few days ago, right? A week ago? When was it?
It's going quite well. Our initial objective is to test our data system, how the data is flowing. And starting next week, we are going to start, marketing.
Great. And I think you mentioned that you got 5-star reviews already. That's pretty remarkable.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's the App Store can be difficult, and but getting those good reviews off the bat are huge in terms of discovery within the App Store.
Definitely, it's all organic, by the way. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. That's awesome. And then what's the next big step, do you think, with this?
We wanna start marketing next week. We launched the application worldwide, and we wanna create more content. We wanna customize the content, and then eventually we are gonna localize the content.
Yeah, right. So you can localize it into virtually any language, right?
Definitely. And we also launched our fundraising. So I think it will also help us a lot, to localize it.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, Orkun. That was awesome.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so next up we've got Yenna and Greg, and so I'm what they call a weekend warrior, meaning every weekend I'm building something or remodeling some part of the house. And so when I met Yetta and Greg and they pitched me on the fact that with their platform, with their Stay Put digital platform, I could be working on a project. If I suddenly realize that I run out of half-inch screws, I can just push a button on my phone and half-inch screws arrive. And I was immediately sold. I said, I completely get the value of that. So Yetta and Greg, where are you guys joining us from today?
SF Bay Area.
The
Same
San
place.
Francisco Bay Area. Nice. Well, tell us about Stay Put. Tell us what we need to know.
All right. Well, howdy. We are Stay Put. My name is Gregory Cromwell. I have over 15 years experience in the residential and commercial industry as an amazing, awesome contractor.
I'm Yana Park. I have over 10 years of experience with several startups in the Bay Area, building and designing digital product.
So Stay Put is going to be the next DoorDash for construction materials and supplies. The construction industry, it's huge. If you don't know that, you've been living under a rock. With approximately 300,000 contractors currently in California alone, over 3 million construction-related businesses, it's kind of a big deal. And as of today, the construction industry is on track to surpass $420 billion in consumer spending. So you ask the problem, why do you need Stay Put? So like I said, as a contractor, I waste a tremendous amount of time going to Home Depot and getting materials, whether it's a box of nails or like a pipe fitting to turn a customer's water back on. It wastes time when I have to leave the job site to pick this stuff up. And this isn't just an isolated problem that I have. It's a problem for every contractor. And as everyone knows, time is money, and it's especially true in the construction industry. DoorDash, Shipt, Grubhub, Instacart, the list goes on and on. But where is the on-demand delivery app for the construction industry? It's us. It's Stay Put Delivery. You can use the Stay Put app to order any construction materials you need, get them delivered same day and within an hour to your job site. And like I said, we are the DoorDash of the construction industry. Some quick numbers to show you the profitability of Stay Put. The average order has a return of approximately 20%. Our initial and very conservative profit projections are pretty impressive, if you ask us. So far, we've been really happy with the traction that we've seen during the first month of marketing. With a spend just under $500, we've gained over 500 leads. 37% of these leads are simply from people sharing our content. And to date, our cost per lead at the highest has been 93 cents. So thank you for your time and for your money. So any questions?
That was terrific. Thank you for your time and your money. That's what they call the presumptive close. So scaling is always the hard part, right? So tell us about your thoughts on scaling. Kind of what are you gonna focus on to begin with in terms of a region? How are you gonna scale up from there?
So we're gonna launch in the San Francisco Bay Area, obviously. There's about 15 stores we're gonna launch with in this area. It's like a 50 square mile radius. And as far as scaling, obviously we want to scale everywhere. We want to be all over California and then spread across the whole US. But it's just all going to depend on the kind of traction we get. We don't want to scale and launch or scale too big and have things kind of go a little sideways on us. So our goal is to start a little small, gain traction, and just see where it goes from there.
Mm-hmm. And we have a question coming in about 1 hour delivery from any store.
So we're starting with Home Depot, Lowe's, and several Ace Hardwares. Our long-term goal is to be integrated with every small store, you know, those general plumbings and the electrician stores. So not any store starting off, but it will go to that eventually.
Right. And so there's a vehicle selection component to this, right? Because, you know, picking up a box of screws requires a different vehicle than picking up 5 sheets of 3/4 inch plywood. So how do you handle that?
Yeah, so we found interesting things. There are plenty of runners, a lot of runners signed up, and we did ask them through a survey what type of cars do they have, and really over 80% of people answered they got SUVs. Some people even said a
But
pickup
my,
truck.
my sorry to interrupt. Yeah, but my question is kind of, does the software automatically know, dispatch a Prius for this one, dispatch a pickup truck for that one?
Yes,
Yeah. So
yes,
that seems to me to be a huge factor because
yes. That's part of the onboarding.
DoorDash and Instacart and the rest, they just send a car. But for you guys, the vehicle selection component is going to be huge. And so the fact that you've got that built into the platform
Yes.
is awesome. A question about the service fee. What is the service fee?
The service fee for the customer, there is no service fee. If you're referring to what it costs to have something delivered, our basic delivery starts at only $25, which is anywhere from 40 to 70% less than anyone else right now delivering materials.
Great. So the answer is it's $25 per order.
Yep.
Right. Awesome. And then lastly, apparently your profile pictures have won the internet today, according to this viewer. So congrats on that.
Thank you, Yana.
Thanks, guys. It was great. Thank you
Yeah.
very much.
Thank you.
All right. Hang on. Let me see. I get Greg off of here. We got too many people. Okay. So next up is Ori B. Good
Hello,
evening,
guys.
Ori B.
Good
How are you?
evening. I'm very well today, and you?
I'm great, thank you. So when I first interviewed Ori B for the program, the first thought on my mind as she was talking is that my wife and I have 5 daughters about her age. We have 5 daughters in the millennial generation, and so
Okay.
when Ori B was talking about one of the tough things about being a young person today is that housing is expensive and it gets more expensive every year. And so generally most young people today they share housing with friends. They have roommates.
In the
But
US.
how do you find a compatible roommate, right? That's a hugely important thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so the fact that I have experience with this through my own daughters made me immediately get what ORIB is working on. So ORIB, tell us more.
Hello, good evening. My name is RIB. I am the founder of Millennial Living. In 2020, between 2020 to 2022, the rent for a one-bedroom in Nigeria doubled by 100%, while the rent for a three-bed only grew by 10 to 12%. This is really alarming because I was locked down in the house. I was trying to find a place for more privacy, but I just couldn't afford to live on my own. It's also really alarming because most people my age are now remote workers. We make up about 54% of the population and we earn about $2,500. So we can't really afford this apartment. In Nigeria, no property owner collects monthly payments. They want bulk sums. So it's a tight situation we find ourselves in. This is what this is why people will go online, Twitter, Instagram. We will try to find someone who is willing to share the rent with us. But this did not really work for me as well because preference was a big issue. Finding someone who matched with me, my lifestyle, it was really hard. And as we have learned from Netflix, Worst Roommate Ever, you could end up with any kind of person by going online to find someone. This is what Millennial Living is trying to solve. It's a technology platform that matches users based on their preferences so they can live together, split the rent. The most important feature on Millennial Living is the security aspect for me. Finding someone who matches my lifestyle securely is an important part of finding someone to live with. So I want that. We're also giving our users a way to communicate safely within the app, so they agree to live together before they leave the app. You can set your preferences based on location, demographics, budget, and just get someone who really gets you and matches your lifestyle. Our business model is simple. We get users into the app using a freemium model. We have subscription-based and ads to generate revenue. And so far, we have a really strong operations and technical team. We're partnering with gatekeepers of the real estate industry. We have 50 organic signups, so we have achieved product market fit, and we're positioned to meet growing housing demand. Currently, we are seeking investors and partnerships to go to market in July. We'd like to hear from you. If you're interested, please talk to us. My mail is rib@mailliving.com. We'd like to further this discussion. Thank you, Brett. Thank you.
Awesome. All right, B. That was terrific. So, a couple questions for you. So, as the father of 5 daughters, the security thing is a big issue, right? That you want to find compatible roommates. You don't want to, as you said, you don't want to be matched with the roommate from hell.
No.
So, tell us a little bit more about kind of the matching process that the software does, and then also the security, the ways in which we make sure that everybody's protected.
Okay. So thankfully in Nigeria currently, we have services who have launched APIs. There's one called Verify Me, and it allows you verify any Nigerian citizen based on their national identification numbers. So we want to integrate that into our site. Before you enter the millennial living pool, you get verified. It's a simple API, you get verified, and then you get in the pool. So every candidate on the site is secure. Yes.
Yeah, great. And this is subscription based, is that right? So I pay by the month? Is that the pricing?
It is. Yes, it is.
And then, we kind of have the same problem that dating apps have, which is that, if we're successful, then people cancel the subscription, right? So, with dating apps, once you meet somebody who you're happy with, then you cancel your dating app subscription. And you kind of have the same thing, in that if you help somebody find roommates, they don't need the app anymore. So what are your thoughts on, kind of adding features that'll continue to add value to people even after they've moved into their apartment?
Yeah, thank you for this question, Brett. This is one of the most important thing I and my team have been looking at. So like we discussed, we want to see how we can add value add features. So we want to get vendors and agents on there, but for us, agents are the most important things. Agents get you the houses. So it's not enough to find someone to match with for a room. You actually find agents on the app that could then get you the house you get to move into. That's just one value add we're putting on the system. There is a whole lot more, but for now we're leaving it at this. Yes.
Right. All right. And I forgot to introduce you at the beginning so tell us where you are.
Hello, I'm in Abuja, Nigeria.
Right. And that's the capital of Nigeria, and I think it's 6 million people in that one city. And so, we're talking about a very dense population.
And projected to grow by at least 50% more in the next 10 years. So, yes, great market here.
Right. And that kind of growth is just going to make housing costs even higher. So your basic value proposition, and we help people, lower their housing costs by finding compatible roommates. That value proposition will only get greater in years to come throughout West Africa.
Yes.
Yeah. All right, ORIB, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so our next presenter is in Sydney, Australia. And because it is currently 3 a.m. in Sydney, Australia, I told Tom that he could pre-record his presentation today so that he wouldn't have to suffer through doing a presentation at 3 a.m. So here's Tom joining us via video from Australia.
Hello, my name is Tom Hardwick, and I'm presenting to you today from Sydney in Australia. I'd like to introduce you to our business EO Health, which we've established to help people learn how to live a long and healthy life. It's really based on the work we've been doing in our own lives over the past few years and some of the challenges and hurdles we've faced in terms of making the transition ourselves. A couple of the key issues that really have inspired us to build EO Health are as follows. One, the healthcare system isn't much help if you're healthy and want to get healthier. It's very much focused on sick care and helping those who need treatment to correct issues. Two, there's a lot of information out there about health and wellness, and it can be overwhelming. It can be very technical and complex. Scientific information isn't easy for the average person to engage with. It can also be very contradictory and confusing in terms of knowing what exactly to do based on the information and different interpretations of the same information. And also can be quite difficult to action. Okay, so that tells me this, but how do I make that change in my life? I think the other thing we've learned is change is actually really difficult, and breaking habits is really a fundamental thing that we need to be able to do to move forward in terms of our health and wellness journey. So we're inspired to build a business that's very much focused on a web-based platform, a subscription-based model that does probably four key offerings. One, inform. How do we help people learn what they need to know to get on the track of building a long and healthy life? Two, how do we assess where people are today and then assess them on an ongoing basis to track their health and hopefully their improvement? Comprehensive biomarker assessment that provides people with a score, a sense of their current biological age compared to their chronological age, as well as a central repository of their key health data that they can have access to and monitor over time. We see this notion of improve as taking some artificial intelligence, taking the research and the strategies that are out there to provide people with some personalised solutions to address some of those biomarkers that may not be in range, and to give them some strategies to help get themselves back on track. And of course, there'll be some people who are probably outside of the safer range and need a bit more of an intervention to get them back on track. And we see a concept of online coaching and telehealth combined with peer mentoring and networking as sort of strong factors to try to get people to make that quantum leap and to get themselves back on track. We're working on an MVP that really focuses on the inform and assess pillars of our business model. We think that's something we can get off the ground by the end of the calendar year. And then, once we're up and running, look to add the inform and change pillars into the business at that point. We're currently working through customer engagement to test that MVP and to refine it over the next few months so that we've got something that hopefully people are really going to enjoy and engage with once we launch it. Team, myself and my partner Dave Baxby, we both have quite a long history in corporate growth businesses, startup businesses. Probably the most interesting thing I've done was build an early learning business that we started from scratch and grew to 350 million of revenue over 7 or 8 years. We had 3 private equity firms fund us on that journey, and that was a great sort of scaling success. And David, has had lots of different experiences. Probably the most interesting was 10 years in Geneva with Richard Branson as the CEO of his international airline investments business. We're also got a head of strategy and operations working on the project, and we're in well progressed in discussions with a potential CEO who's had quite a lot of history in the health tech space as well. I hope that gives you a bit of introduction to EO Health, and if you'd like to follow us, look us up at Coogee Capital, and we'd love to hear from you. Thanks very much. Bye.
Awesome. So that was Tom joining us by pre-recorded video from Sydney, Australia, since it's 3 a.m. his time. As I said at the beginning of the hour, the whole thing of digital health is really taking off right now. And part of Tom's vision, so those of you who are runners or bicyclists, you probably know about Strava. Strava kind of gives you a dashboard that tracks all of your bicycling or running activity and provides you kind of a feedback and dashboard, and allows you to kind of compete with yourself and compete with others and such. And Tom's vision for EO Health is kind of similar in that what he's got in mind is kind of a data visualization dashboard that provides information on your overall health. So your blood work gets fed in there, other lab tests that you have get fed in there. and helps you keep yourself well and healthy as a person. And I think it's pretty exciting. And as Tom mentioned, he's a very experienced business guy, and so I have no doubt, but he'll make a success of it. Okay, so we have two more entrepreneurs left. Good morning, Melanie.
Good morning. How are you today, Brett?
Excellent. And where are you this morning?
I am streaming in from New Jersey.
From New Jersey.
Yeah.
Very nice. So, when I first met Melanie, I interviewed her, and I spent most of my career in enterprise software. And, the first few waves of enterprise software kind of had to be big horizontal platforms. In other words, applicable to all different kinds of businesses. So we saw things like CRM, Salesforce today, database software, stuff like that was applicable across a wide swath of different sectors. And part of what's exciting right now in 2022 is that we're starting to see enterprise software targeted very specifically at certain verticals. And what Melanie is working on is a great example of this. So, Melanie, take it away. Tell us more.
Thank you so much, Brett. Hello, everyone. My name is Melanie Samba, and I am the founder and CEO of Sproxy. Sproxy, which stands for Speaker Proxy, is a software solution that helps teams identify high-value conference opportunities using machine learning. So the idea of Sproxy came about because I'm a PR professional that's been booking speaking engagements for 20 years now, primarily using Excel spreadsheets to manage my workflow. And I'm not alone. There are so many companies that's throwing major dollars to the conference industry as they're trying to build their brands and brand equity on the speaking circuit. And so with Sproxy, there is an opportunity to do that efficiently and effectively. However, right now, their supporting teams have to manage and MacGyver, as I say, several different software solutions to support that work. So I want to share with you what we're working on right now. Recently, we rolled out a benchmark survey to other PR professionals just like myself, and we're expecting to roll out and publish the results on fastcompany.com in the coming weeks. But in the meantime, I want to share with you some of the insights we were able to affirm during our research. First, it just takes way too much time to really research conferences, the right conferences. Teams are unable to really determine the ROI, the value add, when it's comparable to the dollars they spend on the speaking circuit. Also, teams can't collaborate effectively or efficiently. And lastly, the metrics so far, they're just so unclear. They're really unclear. So, since conferences traditionally it rolls under the PR function, Sproxy is being positioned as a PR software solution. There's currently over 30 top-tier software solutions in this category. However, every single software solution under PR primarily focus on media relations only. Right now, each solution serves about 40 to 70,000 users. Our initial target base are those same users. So in regards to our business model, our pricing will be comparable to what's currently already out there. And also, we will be more of an annual license type software solution as well. But with Sproxy, our users will be able to target, pitch, collaborate, and also measure their thought leadership on the speaker circuit in real time using one centralized solution. In regards to the global market size, as you're already aware, the conference industry, the market size is massive, well into the billions. However, what's been happening is because of the pandemic, the industry was disrupted. Everyone had to change course. We went from in-person events to virtual events, and now we're back to in-person events. And because of that, there is a demand for modern solutions. In businesses, they're demanding to know more data. They want to know the metrics of the audiences and of each of the events. So where we fit in is We want to capitalize on the moment and make sure that Sproxy is able to deliver the metrics that these teams need. So right now, we are preparing to launch our first raise in May. Sproxy, the first iteration, will be available this year as well. We are currently speaking to very well-established PR agencies about coming on as early adopters. And we're also in negotiations with a chief technology officer who is working with a very established tech company right now as a global head of engineering. So if you're interested in learning more about our solution or joining us, please contact me directly at msamba@sproxy.com. Thank you so much for your time.
That's terrific, terrific, Melanie. So, I've lived this myself. That going to conferences and doing speaking gigs is expensive. And as a business executive or a CEO of a startup, you want to be out there, you want to be attending conferences, you want to be, landing good speaking slots so that you are spreading the word and evangelizing your awesome new startup and building your brand. But it's expensive.
Yes.
And so you have to be selective in terms of which engagements you accept, which conferences you go to. And so this whole idea of actually having empirical ROI that you can use in making those decisions. I mean, it's an incredibly enticing idea. And how, give us a little hint about how you do this. In other words, how will your software be able to tell me, don't go to that conference and speak there because your ROI on that engagement won't be as good as another engagement. Tell us a bit more about how that works.
So when you enter into the software, you're able to tag yourself or a speaker if you're representing a speaker with different data points. So you may be able to tag like what type of audience you want to target, what area do you want to speak at, what media normally attends that conference, are your competitors there? What are they saying on the speaking circuit right now or to the external audiences, which you may have a different message or a competitive message for? When you're tagging that, the AI component or the machine learning component, it will identify and pull up and draw up the best conferences that match your tags. And as the process continues, it would predict other conferences, scrape the internet and pull up those conferences that best meet your needs. I want to share one real last point about this. I took forever to try to figure out how to squeeze in everything within 3 minutes. And I'm a very wordy person, as you know, Brett. However, what I think is most beneficial about this software solution is you have the opportunity to be very strategic, efficient, and really effective when it comes to spreading your idea and your message, when it comes to sharing your idea with your peers, when it comes to selecting as you said, the right conferences to speak at. And what that does is you can actually change an industry, influence an industry. That to me is major. You can change an industry with your ideas if you're strategic on the way that you do it. And that's the real benefit of Sproxy.
Nice. So we have a question coming in about whether or not you will sell to conferences. Are they one of your customers?
Yes. So I've gotten a lot of interest from conference producers as well. What I've noticed is a lot of conference producers also have to MacGyver or kind of change the software solutions that's currently out there. And so they're trying to also engage with speakers as well in different companies that have their targeted audiences. So yes, I'll be also working with conferences.
Nice. All right. Thank you so much, Melanie. That was terrific. Thanks for joining. All right. And last but not least, we have Jackie. Good afternoon, Jackie.
Good afternoon, Brett. Hi, everybody.
So I have to say that that when I interviewed Jackie when she applied to the Fourthly Startup Accelerator, I have to say that she was one of those people where within about 3 minutes of interviewing her, I still didn't really know or understand her startup yet, but I was 100% clear that Jackie was exactly the kind of person I wanted in the Fourthly Startup Accelerator. And I think as she does her little presentation here, you'll see what I mean. So, Jackie, so before you start your actual presentation,
Yeah.
tell us briefly kind of about your personal journey that led you to founding this company.
Thanks, Brett, and really great to be here. Thanks for this opportunity. We've lived outside of our native country for 15 plus years, and me and my 2 kids and my husband, well, we've lived in 4 countries on 2 continents. So I just realized that my kids always felt quite left out on the outside because they're not picking up their native language. And we tried for years, like 13 plus years, and we just did not manage to find the right type of tool. So we just said, if enough is enough, we're going to do it. She turned 13 this year. Actually, last year, my oldest daughter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they always, I always believe that great startup founders are the ones who can really empathize with a customer and really kind of understand what the customer cares about. And in Jackie's case, Jackie is the persona. She's the exact persona that represents the customer for her startup, which I think is terrific. So, Jackie, enough of me. Take it away.
Thank you so much, Brett. Hi, everybody. As Brett shared, my name is Jackie Nsuma, and it's great to be here. I've worked for 15 plus years with the United Nations in knowledge management, and I've also trained and coached African diaspora and Kenyan youth in universities. And why Tayari Live? Well, over the course of 15 plus years, like I mentioned, my kids have always felt as outsiders because of language. And I just realized, you know what? Nothing is being done. I'm going to do something about it. Enter Tayari Life. So Tayari means ready in Swahili and preparation in Gujarati. And what we're doing with Tayari, just imagine with me for a moment, a world where every native language has its own Duolingo and Disney Plus. And for good measure, just throw in Udemy for the teachers, for getting teachers together. So this is the key team members that we're working with, our chief media advisors, Liz and Alex Constantaras, the Kenyan Greek producer actor duo who've worked with DSTV, Swahili channel, Maisha Magic, and also Isabel Njeresa, who's a communication specialist, passionate about language, and a parent in the diaspora too. So like I said, we just never could find the right platform, and we tried. All the groups that we started with fellow parents died within 2 months, not for lack of effort. These were the reasons that they died. Primarily, you all know dragging kids to do things they don't want to do. It's like pulling teeth, really. And then with limited quality teachers, curriculum, it just never, ever, hit the spot for them, the kids. And plus being abroad just means none of the infrastructure we're used to. Plus it's busy. School, after school programs, it's ridiculous. And then no sense of belonging. Kids just miss peers to speak their language with, which means they never have enough exposure. They never pick it. Plus there's not many online options, And then if expense would not be an issue, but if the lessons are working, but they're not. So each day, learning is delayed is an issue. So what we do is the hard work so parents don't have to. We don't online videos, and we gamify it. And we hold physical camps, which are lots of fun, by the way. I don't know if you can tell. And we're mainly subscription-based revenue, currently standing at $590 as at end of March. And we also run premium 4-figure cultural immersion camps and a marketplace for teachers. And some of our ambitious projections for 2022 is to make slightly under $1 million. And customers, once they subscribe, we project that they'll stay for about 6 months at an average lifetime value given here. And that represents a $260 billion market because we're targeting the population worldwide that speak English as a de jure first language, but they have a different native language. And parents are aware that their language is likely to die without actual instruction. And our kids actually are 25% of the worldwide population that we're targeting. So why us? Well, there's a nexus right now with in online education in Africa. There's investment in localized language media by Disney and Netflix. There's a growing e-commerce trend for the native language resources that we would produce. And a teacher's marketplace is a scalable revenue stream, right? And finally, cultural tourism. So There's lots of digital platforms out there, but we are filling this particular gap in the market with gusto. We're currently self-financed and we're raising funding to launch new and improved platform and to scale our content production. So thank you for your time, and do reach out if you'd like to hear more. Here's my schedule link and my email. Look forward to hearing from you.
Thanks, Jackie. That was fabulous. So just one or two super quick questions before we wrap this whole thing up. So if this really takes off, kind of what's the big vision here? Because there are, as you said, there are a lot of, I mean, the African diaspora is all over the world, right? There are a lot of people whose heritage is on the African continent. So the market size is plenty big. What's your kind of big vision of where this could go?
Thanks for that question, Brett. And we envision being the Disney Plus for native languages all over the world. I mean, starting in Africa, which is a huge market, lots of investments happening in the last 6 months alone, and then moving on to Asia. I mean, there's lots of languages that are in danger of extinction. We target that out of this $260 billion market, we would have a share of it. Easily, I would say $500 million in earnings every single year. Thank you to Bethel for that great comment. Appreciate it. And we invite you to reach out to us and partner with us. We do have a big vision. It's a bit of an audacious one, but we firmly believe that, you have to go. We're passionate about it. We're willing to do the work. And if you don't dream big, then you won't hit it big, right? To make an impact in the world around you.
Yep. Awesome. Well, Jackie, you're a rock star. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Brett.
All right, so that concludes the spring 2022 edition of the Fourthly Startup Accelerator Demo Day. Great ventures, amazing entrepreneurs. And if you want to know more about them, go to fourthly.com, click on the current cohort link, and you can read more about them. You can find a link directly to their website. You can contact them and find out more. So, as I said, I think these 9 ventures kind of represent some of the salient trends going on in the global marketplace today. And I think also they're representative of the fact that, for most of my career, the center of innovation and entrepreneurship and venture capital is all Silicon Valley, right? If you wanted to have a tech startup, you kind of had to be in Silicon Valley. But what's different today, as we're entering what the World Economic Forum calls the Fourth Industrial Revolution, what's different today is that there's clusters of innovation and entrepreneurship all over the world today. It's not just Silicon Valley anymore. In our presentations today, we heard from Sydney, Australia. We heard from Nigeria. We heard from Turkey. We heard from the East Coast, the West Coast of the United States, that there are clusters of entrepreneurship and innovation going on all over the world today, and that this economic engine of entrepreneurship is creating opportunity and solving problems in every corner of the planet. Thanks again for joining us. Really appreciate it. And find out more by going to fourthly.com. Thanks again.